Hello and welcome to a short instructional video regarding adding assignments to the K-5 Gradebook. From the PowerTeacher home screen, I'm going to choose the Gradebook tab here and choose Launch Gradebook. A small file will be populated into my Downloads folder, and so I'm going to go ahead and just double click on that to launch the Gradebook. Next, one of the first things I'm going to do is make sure I'm in the right reporting term. Here's T1, T2, and T3. And so I'm going to select T1 for the beginning of the year. On the left here is a list of different classes that I instruct. I'm going to go ahead and choose a math class for this particular example. Next, I want to contract a particular column that's not meaningful in the K-5 gradebook. This column, titled Final Grade next to the students' names, is not used. It's really a composite score that high schools may use for transcript purposes. So since it's not used, I'm going to hover my mouse over top of this dividing line, click, hold, drag, and minimize it out of view. Next, notice I'm in the score sheet view here, and there's a handy addition function here. This allows me to make a new assignment. Simply click the plus symbol, and the new assignment panel pops up. For a new assignment, I'll need to enter a name and a category and provide a particular date. Most gradebooks start with default categories. These can be customized based on a teacher interest. And I'm going to select the date next. It's important to select a date within the particular trimester that we're assessing students on. The computer will automatically sort the assignments into the particular trimester views based on that date. The other pieces of information here you see, such as points possible and score type, are arbitrary. Since we're in a standards-based gradebook, we're not using points, point values, or percents to give a student a grade on the assignment. Rather, we're going to associate particular standards to this assessment. In this particular example, it was an addition and subtraction assessment, and that is represented here by this Common Core math cluster for second grade. Students will solve problems involving addition and subtraction. Now, note that I can select one or more clusters. A particular assessment may have more than one cluster associated with it, and that's fine. I can check more if they so apply. But for the simplicity's sake of this video, we'll stick with one cluster. And finally, we're going to choose Save. And note that the assignment now appears in the score sheet. To minimize the new assignment pop-up, I can just hit the little X there. And I see my students on the left and a column for the assignments. If I made a mistake on the assignment, I want to change a date or change the title, I can simply double click on the column header, and then I can tab back over to assignment and change the name or select a different date accordingly. Making any type of adjustments would require that I save, and there's always a warning message if I forget to try to save. It will basically require that I make a save or cancel any recent edits. To make another assignment, I would simply just repeat this process using the plus symbol. If I want to remove assignment completely from my gradebook score sheet view, I just select the assignment so that it is highlighted and then choose the delete function here. It will always give you a warning message before it actually deletes a particular assignment. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have here. We have this addition and subtraction assessment, and I have a couple of little functions represented here. If I hover my mouse over the one with the S, that's an important one. This shows the associated standards to this assignment placeholder. So here's how this works. I give my students the assessment, and when I've collected them, I can use the right click or control click feature to check students that have turned it in. Or for time's sake, I can use the control click feature to fill scores, and I'll by default use the ones with no score already in there. I'll highlight this particular row and choose collected. And choose OK, and that will autofill all of them. But maybe this particular student was missing on a particular day, so I can toggle that check mark by the control click function and use missing. And maybe this particular student was really ill with chickenpox, and I need to just exempt them from this particular assignment. I can include some of these other marks just to keep track of what's happening in my class. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and give students a score for the cluster, and I'm allowed to enter in a 1, 2, 3, 4 or an NA. So I can again go ahead and just use the fill scores feature for all the students that received a 3, and any student that had a score differently, I can continue to right click and change it, or I can simply just select a cell, delete, and manually enter on my keyboard. And then last, I'll make sure I choose save. Once I've associated a point value to all of the different students here, notice that the S turns a dark green. Dark green represents that all students were graded. However, I made a mistake. This student was missing that day, so I'm going to go ahead and remove their grade. And now notice that the S is gray, representing that a few students still need some scores entered. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final grades view here with this tab in the middle. This represents what will appear on the report card. This first column represents the first cluster, operations and algebraic thinking. Cluster titled A, represent and solve problems involving addition and subtraction. And I can see the different point values for the recent assignment that I just created and entered scores for. Note that this particular column will use the most recent 3 attempts for a student to calculate this score.